funnel, you need to build a funnel and all this crap, right? So the reality is that like a funnel is effective, but generally what you're taking a funnel, you're just kind of taking a bunch of crap data and then hoping to stream through and organize things to figure out what's good and what's bad. Which is great, but then you still need to do something with that data, right? Now I have the good data, it's like, what do I do? So I do funnel into my webs. A lot of things I do is just build that whole web. The whole idea of a web is kind of, like the spider does. He builds pieces of his webs around, and then he comes across like this. I'm not an artist, but a fly comes in, gets stuck in that web. Now, spiders don't just, eat right away, right? They come in, they wrap the little bug up, and they leave them there until they're ready to eat it. Your web kind of acts the same way in that you're filling your web with good data and then keeping it there until it's ready to be eaten, right? So the reality is when you get into social media advertising and things like Facebook and stuff like that, it tends to be longer term, right? So no one goes on Facebook and says, hey, I want to buy a house today. What they do is they log on Facebook because it's what they do with their life every day. It's just where they go, and then they go places from there. So you're enticing them in with something, hey, whatever. They see something that triggers them and then brings them somewhere. And if your demos are set up right, where I know that the people that I'm targeting are my potential clients, and then I know that the data that I'm getting is good, and I'm putting them somewhere, and I'm following around the internet till the end of time, then those people will transact. So really, when you're looking at data sets of like when we started going down this road, maybe I generate, 10,000 leads a year, right? If I'm closing 4%, that's great. But if I close a single percentage more, which I normally do 3 or 4% more once we started doing this, that's a shit ton of money, right? Because now a percentage on 10,000 gives me that many more people and a higher closing ratio, and it just kind of, it works for me. Hey, there's other ways of going about doing this. I'm not telling anyone this is the right way, but it does work for me. So let's see if I can make this thing work. That'd be cool. All right, so what is a web? It's really just the structuring of area and business pages on Facebook, as well as your own personal business page on Facebook. Running ad forms on those that collect the data, right? So anything that I run all lead forms now. I don't really do any per click type stuff. Everything I do is a lead form. Does everyone know what a Facebook lead form is?
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, no. Conversion is just a CRM, but so basically the whole way that pay-per-click in general has always worked, right? Google comes out with pay-per-click, right? And they say, okay, you can pay us to get people to go to your website, right? So I get PPC, and then I drive them to somewhere, and then I need like a squeeze page or a landing page. And that's where I collected my data. And what I end up there is a high percentage of fake data, right? FU at leavemealone.com, 5555555, all that stuff. And then I get a smaller percentage of good data, and then that's where I get my percentages from, right? So when Facebook got into the pay-per-click game, they kind of did the same thing. Facebook says, okay, that's how we go about it, right? So about a year ago, Facebook realizes that people are coming here and they're paying Facebook to drive them to a squeeze page or a landing page to then collect fake data, right? Facebook knows everything about everyone in this room. If you have a Facebook profile, sorry, but you should give up all your privacy ever, So what Facebook realizes is they already have the data, right? So why am I going to send someone to a third party when I can just keep them on Facebook? So what a Facebook lead form is the ads look the same, right? It's still, my ad copy can be the same. Hey, click here for recently reduced homes in Jackson or whatever. But now when they click that form, a pre-populated form pops up with their name, email address, and phone number on there. And then from there, I can send them wherever I want. Once they hit submit, you can dump them anywhere on the internet. So what happened was, it kind of cut out the need for like having really highly converting squeeze pages and landing pages, which we've been using for years, and I still do because you still need them if you're doing anything on Google. But you can now, a lot of guys are transitioning their entire business into Facebook because you don't really have to have anyone leave Facebook ever. You can kind of run your entire strategy right here. And what you get with this is pretty much 100% accuracy of cell phone numbers, about 98% accuracy on email addresses. So the data now, I've cut out the fake data, right? And I know that I have good data at a lower cost, a much lower cost than we were ever able to get via these other means, right? Now all I got to do is figure out how to convert that data. Because like I said, it's not like when I go, if I go to Google and I type in, looking for a home in Jackson, my motivation is high. When I log on to Facebook, I was just scrolling through and you caught my attention and I clicked it, right? So I didn't go on Facebook to buy a house, But the reality is that if my demographics are good, and I know, like, say I'm trying to target sellers, right? And I know that I'm targeting homeowners in a given town, and I'm filling my database with good cell phone numbers and email addresses for those people, and then I'm setting up retargeting and kind of following them around the internet for the rest of their existence. Now I can get them from every angle, right? I know at least I can get in touch with them, and I'm not wasting my time chasing fake data. Not to say that they're not going to tell you to F off and leave them alone, you know what I mean? They will. Because a lot of people say, oh, I don't know how you got my information. Like, it's right there, But don't let them fool you, okay? But the reality is that, now you have good data to chase around, and it's kind of like where we start and how to do that. Does that make sense?
What's that form called, Jay?
What's that?
What's that form called?
It's called a Facebook lead form.
Lead form?
Yeah, and we'll kind of get into that not next week, but the week after. What that really is like everyone kind of likes the Facebook kind of they came up with that boosted post button, right? And that's like everyone's like, oh, boosted post, that's cute, that's fun, right? Yeah, no. Yeah, so like that's kind of like Facebook decided they were gonna get into the crack game, So they decided that they were gonna give you like a real cheap taste of something. And then keep trying to get you to buy more, So it's like they came out. So Facebook advertising. If you ever run a Facebook ad and like go into the back end of Facebook advertising, there's about maybe like 9 or 10 different reasons you run an ad, and all of those is telling Facebook what you want from that ad, right? When you do a boosted post, you're running an ad for engagement. There is a purpose for an ad for engagement, but for 90% of what we do on a daily basis, it does not meet what we need, right? What happens with ad for engagement is you get a lot of likes, you get a lot of comments, you get a lot of these arbitrary numbers like 12,000 people reached or whatever. Who cares? You know what I mean? And that's the reality. But they did a good job because Facebook knows that they have billions of users. And if I can say, hey, spend $1 a day, and you're like, oh, cool, and then you go and you're like, oh, nothing really came from it, but they throw you some big numbers, like, oh, look at all these views, and they're like, no, just another $10, They got to figure it out, I tell you. But the reality is that boosted post is not what you want to do. So when you go into that back end of the ads manager, you'll see in the middle column on the top it says either traffic. It usually says that's like if you want to bring someone to a squeeze page or landing page. And then the other one down at the bottom there is lead forms. And that's the one that we'll be going over the next couple weeks. A little more complicated, a little more work to set up. But the reality is once you set up one or two of them, it's pretty easy and you just keep using the same form. But keep that in mind. Try not to boost posts. Or do it. I don't care. It's your money. So yeah, this is kind of what it comes down to, is building out those pages, interacting with people on those pages, and getting that engaging content, and then building audiences based off of those things. So the whole idea is to start small and expand out, like the spider, right? Yeah. Let's see. Get there. How do I build a web? Yeah, so this is like, I'm not going to, give you guys homework or anything, but if I were you, what I would do is go home and write down a plan, right? Figure out what you want by advertising, right? A lot of people, a lot of agents, their problem is always like, oh, I want to try this, I want to do that, and they're all over the place, and that's why they fail. biggest thing is to put that plan together, keep it simple. I usually, tell agents to start with like 1 or 2 communities around where they live. If you don't want to do business where you live, then pick 1 or 2 communities that you know about. Don't say like, oh, well, I know that, rich people live in Spring Lake. I want to work in Spring Lake. That's not really how it works, A lot of agents like to do that. Like they want to target an area because the home values are high, but they don't know anything about that area. It really doesn't do anyone any good. You're going to be way better off targeting where you know and focusing on those. And the whole idea is really to build that all off each other. So really think about it, because you don't want to be bouncing around town to town, area to area. Keep it focused. So then next week we'll get into more creating the Facebook business pages, getting people to like those pages, getting the town and community pages. So basically when I run different ads, I'm running them as that community page. So we're going to be building out those community pages. Like all of mine are home values, so mine will be like Jackson home values. And then I'll run a buyer and a seller campaign off of that page. Now, your regular business page, the me page, will be used for everything beyond that, retargeting and stuff like that. So the whole idea is, if I'm trying to generate leads, I'm going to get cheaper leads by using an area page. People don't feel like I'm trying to sell them anything. They feel like I'm just a local resource just trying to help everyone out. And I am, I guess. So also what happens is Facebook's algorithms don't understand you or what you do necessarily, but they can match words. So they match Jackson, and then they see that your lead form mentions Jackson a few times, and then wherever you send them after mentions Jackson, and they're just linking that together. So that's where Facebook's really sneaky, in that if I'm running an ad in the same market as you, and we're targeting the same demographics, and Facebook likes my ad better than yours, and we're both spending the same amount of money, they're going to take both our money. But my ad's going to show more than yours, and I'm going to get a higher return. It's a bidding process, so basically what ends up happening is, which happened with Google a long time ago, is the relevance matters, right? The whole idea is to not be able to just pay Facebook to win. It's kind of what they're going with now with like all the changes over there, right? Facebook is designed to give people what they want. The second Facebook stops giving people what they want, people stop going on Facebook, people stop advertising on Facebook, Facebook makes no money. At the end of the day, Facebook wants to make money too. Everyone wants to make money. So they're going to assume that since I have Jackson home values page, and it pertains to Jackson, and my page goes to Jackson, whoever clicks that is probably going to get what they want. Now, if yours is like, me, the realtor, and it goes here, they're saying, well, I don't know, I can't really connect those. And they're like, well, this one's kind of connected. But then even if this at the end is like, doesn't have Jackson all over it and embedded in there, there's too many disconnects there. Does that make sense? All Facebook wants is to give us what we want.
But then what type of content are you supposed to be putting in that particular page?
So you don't really need to put that much on it. What you can do as well when you set those pages up, if you go to Bond Street Mortgage /social, that's what I use for everything. You can sign up. It's called Social HP. It's a software I use. Basically, it just, you can choose which pages that you want auto stuff to post to. And it's just like, I'll post random crap on there. Like we have a daily blog that then just pushes out to all our guys. And it just kind of puts stuff out there like, 10 tips to remember this spring or whatever. All that crap. No one clicks it, no one reads it. Doesn't matter. It's just so you have stuff there. Or if you're super ambitious and really love that sort of thing, then post your own articles. You know what I mean? You can post stuff. It doesn't really matter. Anything that really, at the end of the day, that engagement isn't as important because most of our engagement is coming from the lead form itself and the ad itself. It's just so you kind of have something out there.
So wait, is the lead form separate from the ad? Because I've done ads. I did an ad before, so I know.
Yeah. So a lead form is just a type of ad.
Okay. So it's just a type of ad. Okay.
Basically, what happens is that the ad setup's the same. You put in your text at the top, you put your image or whatever. But now when they click that Learn More button, instead of it driving them to a website, it's gonna actually pop up a pre-populated form and then send them to the website. So it looks the same. Like if you're scrolling through Facebook, it would look the same. It doesn't look like a form. It doesn't happen until after you hit that.
Do they give you the ratios of people that actually click on the forms to people that are filling on the form?
Mhm. Yeah, you can see all those.
That's what I remember seeing the lead form and thinking, who the hell is going to fill this out?
Yeah, well, a lot of people do because they don't
That's
actually
what I'm curious.
because they don't actually have to fill it out. If they actually had to fill it out, you wouldn't get that many, but they
Okay,
don't.
so the
So, like,
agents
what a lot of
automatically-
agents, their problem is when they run lead forms is they want to ask additional questions that Facebook doesn't know. What's your time frame for moving? Who the hell cares? Get them on the phone and ask them, you know? Because what you're going to get is you're going to get less people completing that form because I'm asking them to do something. I'm asking them to take an action where I really just want them to be able to click and probably not even realize that I just hijacked their info. That's how I want them to go. Now, what you will get is if you ask those additional questions, you'll get a much higher cost per lead, but you'll get a higher level of intent. I'm not of that school of thought. I like cheap data, and then I know that I can get through that data and I can refine it and I can make more money that way. But you know, some people that are too busy, you know, might want to do it that way, or just hire someone. You'll make more money anyway. But either way. Yeah, building those community pages, inviting people, getting that. We'll get into all this over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so that's where it gets kind of, let's see.
Can I actually ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
At the very bottom, were you going to go to the next page?
No, yeah, maybe.
No, my bad. I just wanted to ask this.
Yeah, what's up?
So at the very last one, it says build custom Facebook audiences based on. It says form opens and form submissions.
Yeah, so that's where like towards like in a couple weeks when your face melts,
Okay.
that's when it gets pretty wild. Because basically now the whole idea of everything is to kind of build off each other. So the lead form is the one step of what we're doing, right? Now what Facebook also realized was that the same thing with retargeting. I used to have to send you to my website, right? And then I could retarget you. Facebook says, screw that. Keep everyone on Facebook, you know? So now, you could set up custom audiences based on pretty much anything. So, someone likes that post. So basically, someone's going to take one of a few actions on this lead form, on this ad, right?
Is this based off of your business page or is this your personal page?
They're all business pages. So you're going to have separate business pages. One's going to be your area pages, and one's going to be your personal business page.
Okay.
But basically, when I run those lead forms, right? Some people are going to click on it. A few less are going to click and fill out that form. Some people aren't going to do any of that. They're just going to, give me a little smiley face, or a heart, or an angry face, or comment on it. All of these people, no matter what they do, are going to get retargeted. So that's where kind of the magic happens, I guess. Because no matter how you engage with me, I'm going to follow you around the internet till the end of time. And the more that you engage with me, the harder you're going to follow people back, right? So if someone clicks on the form and doesn't fill it out, they'll see me a little bit. If someone clicks on the form and they do fill it out, they're going to see me a little bit more. If someone clicks on the form, fills it out, and goes to my website, they're going to see me more. If someone then likes my page, they're going to see me more. You know what I mean? So it's kind of that grows out, and you're just giving back whatever people are giving to you.
When you use the word retargeting, what does that mean?
So basically, retargeting is just continuing to show up to people who have already expressed interest in your brand or product.
And are we going to talk about how that happens?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's going to be 5 weeks. We're going to have a good time together. We're going to take over the internet.
Is it every Wednesday at 10 a.m.?
Every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Basically, your lead form is your lead gen side of things, right? Where I'm just straight getting data, right? I'm getting email addresses and phone numbers. Your retargeting is kind of what goes around that, and is more just branding type stuff. So like I do a lot with like videos. Sometimes I'll retarget people who open that form with another type of advertisement if they didn't complete the form. So I might put in like a property valuation or something like that and see if they kind of take that bait instead. But yeah, it's kind of, that's where, because what happens then is now that's where I'm getting a higher rate of conversion on my lead forms. Because now they know who I am, and now I'm going to follow them around the internet forever. So now that I know those people aren't really converting for 8 months, but for the next 8 months, they're going to see me everywhere, you know? Make sense?
Yeah.
Just taking over the world. So this is so one of those audiences is also based on engagement. We'll get into this more, as we go along there. But those engagement audiences are pretty amazing, right? Because now, since Facebook cut out the middleman of me having to send you to a website in order to retarget you, all I got to get you is engaged with my content. So this all kind of feeds into the recent changes on Facebook, because if people were doing what they were supposed to be doing, they would already be doing this anyway. And there's no issues. Yeah.
Okay. You kind of went over all that the lead form.
Mm-hmm.
What is the lead form?
There's an entire week dedicated
okay.
to that.
Okay.
So
like,
you're just giving
is
us
it
an
like,
overview.
okay.
Yeah, this is just kind of running through. I'll, not next week, the week after, we'll literally sit and create lead forms, create those campaigns, bring your computer, just type it in there, super easy. But now, just kind of beyond that, when all this stuff is running and you have your business page, then on your personal business page, right, then we just start dumping a ton of content out. Blog posts, videos, Facebook Live is huge. I've been saying this for a long time now. No one wants to listen, but it's freaking amazing. Like, I'm live streaming this right now. The reason is not because anyone's going to freaking watch this video. The video doesn't matter. Like, that's what a lot of people think, like, oh, the video matters. The video does not matter. If I get someone to watch 3 seconds of what is going on right now, I will follow them around the internet forever. You know? So that's why you do it. You don't do it because, someone's going to sit and they're going to, you're really giving that much information. And you will get people that you do, that are interested and want to watch, but those are like your super fans. Those are generally the people that we're going to use you anyway. You know what I mean?
Don't generate, you can't, if you're just on, somebody dumps into your live, it's not like you're collecting their data. How do you collect their data?
I am collecting their data.
How do you collect their data off of a live?
Custom audiences. So
That's what I'm
that's where when you set those, when you set up
I
custom audiences based on engagement, how do we spell engagement? I don't know. But basically, that 3-second video view becomes engagement. Or if they like this post, or they comment on it, whatever. This video, as long as you're doing it from your business page, doesn't count on personal, right? So you got to do it from your business
They would
page.
follow you on your business page. They would have to be a part of.
He's behind. Is that a video?
Well, that's
They
where
don't
you
have to
get.
be in your group.
That's where you get kind of sneaky. Is that what you do? Like what I'll do today? Don't tell Facebook. Is that I'm going to record this now.
Yeah.
Tonight when I go home, I'm going to put it up on one of my monitors at home. And I'm going to put a little microphone here. And I'm going to let this video play. And I'm going to go on to Facebook Live as a business page. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to rerun this as a live video, but as a business page. Now when that's running, right, I'm going to go sit on the couch. I'm going to take my phone. And I'm going to watch the video as if I'm someone. Then I'm going to invite everyone I know to watch that video.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to share it in a couple groups. Not a lot of groups. Okay? Not a lot of groups. Couple groups. Because then I'm banned right now, I think. But
What did you do?
yeah, don't worry about it. I got like 20 accounts. They'll never stop me. But
He's in jail right
yeah.
now.
What's that? No. Don't tell Facebook. Yeah, you gotta have different cell phone number. I mean, it's a big process, you know. But yeah. But usually they're okay with it. But that's the thing is like now if you share it into a couple like big groups, and the groups have to be the biggest problem with group sharing and why people get in a lot of trouble is because they share irrelevant content in groups that don't matter at all to your product. But if you're sharing that into, if you're really giving good content in your video and you're sharing that into groups that benefit from that content and people are engaging with that content and like it, you usually won't get in that much trouble unless you're doing it in too many groups. Then Facebook thinks it's spammy because they feel like you're doing that all the time. But a couple groups sharing that out will get you a lot of engagement. The whole thing is with live video, it's like they say like a picture is like 1,000 words or whatever, and a video is like 1,000,000 pictures. A live video is like a zillion videos, right? It's really just It's kind of even getting into, how Facebook's changing a little bit, but it's kind of what they've always done, is have to give people what they want, right? When I log into Facebook, it's like, the people I see are the people that I'm with all the time, right? People that I just had dinner with, people that I'm tagging pictures with them, people that, we do a lot of things together. Me and, my high school girlfriend are Facebook friends, but I never see what she's doing. Doesn't mean she's not doing anything. If I go to her page, I can see, her posts and stuff. Facebook knows I don't care. So they don't show you that.
That's why they do the feeds like that.
Yeah, so you see what you want, right?
You only
That's
see
the whole
people
idea.
that you're like constantly
If you see
that's
so many
right.
things are going on, if you have 1,000 friends, right, and everyone's posting multiple times a day, you're never going to have enough time to go through that. So Facebook has to choose what they show you.
I didn't know they monitored it like that. Like, they didn't know they monitored the feeds like that.
Yeah, their algorithms are set up to kind of give you what you want. Now,
Yeah, that's
the funny thing with like live video is Facebook knows that video content is more engaging to people than other content, and live video tends to be more engaging than video content. The reality is people go on Facebook because they want to pretend they're being social. You know what I mean? Because people don't talk to each other anymore. But there's something human about a live video that makes people like it. When you're going through and like that's kind of the thing. When you see image, you text image, then the video comes out and that made people like, oh, this is better than I keep seeing pictures and text. Now live video brings in kind of that human element. People are more likely to stop on live video. Facebook knows this. So what happens is they show your live video to more people more times than they'll show your regular video. They'll show your regular video more people more times than they'll show your text or your images. So it's really only like your super fans that see that little bit and then you kind of expand out. So if you do a lot of live video, more people will see it.
How do you make your live video have like quality content? Because just replaying a class, right?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
It,
how do you make it quality?
the content doesn't matter.
That's
That's the reality is that the content really doesn't matter.
Because you do a face familiarity, because like when you're looking through.
Yeah,
the
facial
feeds, like, you're
familiarity
like, oh,
definitely helps
why?
people stop, right? Like if you it's definitely better to do a live video with your face than just walking around like this, because the people that know you will be like, oh, they'll stop.
Yeah.
But the reality is, for all intents and purposes, if the whole purpose of my live video is more so to gear that engagement that I'm creating retargeting audiences off of anyway, I don't really care how much of that video that they watch. I just need them to stop. It's almost like a level of like pattern interrupt, like used to be big. Whereas if I can just get you to stop, then I did my job. And that's kind of the same way with the live video. You'll get the people that'll stick around and watch a little bit more of it. And if you're saying something that people care about, that's great. But the reality is those people then now are engaging more. And if your audiences are set up right and you follow what we're doing here, over the next couple of weeks, you'll show up more to those people. So now they're going to just start seeing all my branded content more and more. The more they engage in me, the more I'm giving back to them. It's like the, what's that? The Circle of Life, the Lion King or whatever, right? So that's kind of where all of our engagement and kind of what, how we want to build that out. So this is what we'll talk about in 2 weeks, creating the ads themselves. There's a couple of things to go over here, and we'll delve into it deep. But by the end of this, you should have a couple separate campaigns. One would be your town, right? So I'll use Jackson. I would name my campaign. And then I would have my retargeting. So, and I might have video, and we'll get deeper into that, but just for simple purposes. Now, my Jackson ad will have buyers and sellers, and those are my ad sets in the middle. That's where I set my budget, my demographics, that sort of thing, right? And then now within each of these, we'll have 4 or 5 ads, right? The whole idea by the end of this is that you should be able to have your campaign set up, your ad set set up, and you can just pause everything. Is that the pause sign? What's pause look like? That?
Yeah.
So you could just keep those paused until you're ready to use them, right? So if I'm not ready to do retargeting yet, I can still come set up the campaign, set up the ad sets, and have it ready. So then when I can start with running my lead gen now, when I want to get into retargeting, I just go and I turn it on, set a budget and turn it on. Same thing with your campaigns here. The whole idea is that once you have all this set, you only really have to focus on the ads here. And all I do is I turn off the ones that aren't working and duplicate the ones that are, and then change an image, change the text a little bit, things like that. So it really just at that point just becomes copying and pasting. And
Do you guys have all that content? Yes, I see.
yeah, but you gotta pay a lot of money for it.
All free?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll show you when we go into like the ad stuff, I'll show you different content I use and different sources I get it from. To be honest, most of my ads are single image. I just take a picture of a kitchen or a bathroom, or if the outside's real nice, and I put, hey, click here for a list of recently reduced homes in whatever town. I throw a couple emojis in there. I hate emojis, says it up there. I think they look dumb, but they work. And that's the truth. I don't know why they work, but they do. As long as you don't get like super weird with them. Like some people are getting a little aggressive with the emojis lately. I usually do like a little house, just listed, just sold, and the address, 2 check marks, 3 beds, 2 baths, and granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, something like that. Click learn more for more photos and info of this property if it's a single property type thing. I don't get too wild with the emojis, but they will. I don't know if it's like a pattern interrupt thing where they stop people from scrolling and they catch their attention, but my partner Ryan, who is really great and I've learned a lot from over the years, he has been in the digital marketing real estate world pretty much since computers came out. And he won't switch to emojis yet, but my ads will always out-convert his if I'm using emojis. But he's good at other things.
Are you allowed to, when you put that picture of the kitchen, right, and then you do, recently reduced, but are you allowed to put the photos of that property on or not?
What do you mean?
Somebody else's listing.
Somebody else's listing.
With the listing agent.
Yeah. Disclaimer, I don't have a real estate license. I have a mortgage license. I do not have a real estate license, so no one's taking my real estate license away from me. It's your livelihood, figure out. It's a gray area. Technically, people tell me yes, as long as it links to somewhere that has the listing agent info. That's the real law, but if you piss people off, then it just makes everyone unhappy, and it'll make, if you just ask agents in your office that have listings, if you want to generate buyers, most agents will say, yes, please go promote my listing. You know what I mean? So I think if you just ask around, there's definitely enough agents that are happy to let you promote their listings, that to go out and try to promote listings that might ruffle feathers, it just creates bad blood. And the reality is like, you guys have to work with each other, brokerage, other brokerages, whatever. Y'all at some point are going to be on the opposite side of a table, and if I know that you took my listing and that pissed me off and I asked you to stop and you didn't because you didn't technically have to, and we're just like not friends, like I'm not going to negotiate as well with you as if we just have fun and relax, But yeah, I wouldn't, actually most of mine, if I'm just doing generic ads, I don't even use real listings. I just use Adobe stock photos, like I search for like pretty kitchen or something.
Pretty kitchen.
Yeah, whatever. Something like that. Yeah, so the biggest thing with those ads, and that's kind of where down at the bottom here, when people like and comment on those ads, right? Because those ads show up as posts when people scroll through. So not everyone's going to click that Learn More button. Some people are just going to like it or comment on it. Those people, when they like it, you can actually go in and invite people who like that post to like that page. So that's how I'm slowly building out people who like those community pages, and that's why it's always a lot easier if you just start with 1 or 2 community pages and really build that page as a resource. Because as that page grows, so will your audience. There will always be inventory to sell. I'm more on like market domination and picking a little area and being the only person in that area and pushing everyone else out than trying to like focus everywhere and do everything.
Well, when they like it, all it goes into your feed that you see they like. How do you take that off the feed and then dump it into like their page?
So when you actually, if you go into your page and you click where it says like under the post, it'll say like such and such liked your post, and it'll show all the little smiley faces. If you click on that link, it'll pop something up next to it, and it'll show all the people that liked it, and it'll say invite next to it. So you can just click that button.
Invite to share or
Invite to like the page. So they like the post,
got it.
but then you can invite them to like the page. So that's the same on your regular business page as well. So that's kind of the whole thing when you're putting that engagement out, right? So you're doing a live video, you share it in a group, bunch of random people that don't like your Facebook page like that video, go in, click, and invite them all now to like your page. Because now they're going to fall into two separate audiences, right? The first audience is going to be people who engage, right? They engaged. Now they're going to fall into people who like my page. Now they're double engaged, now they're going to see me twice as much. You know, now I'm more likely to get them to engage in more of my content, they're going to see me more, and now I'm going to follow them around the internet till the day they die. Also, respond to people who comment on your ad. A lot of people don't. Facebook wants you to engage, right? They want you to interact. They want you to be social, despite the fact that we're on Facebook and not being social. They want you to be social. That's the end goal. So when people say, you know, a lot of agents or people in general are just like, oh, well, I don't know what to say. Just say anything. You know, oh, this house, you know, some people will like try to bust your balls a little bit. Try not to delete their post unless they're really crude or another agent trying to advertise on your post. Like if someone says to me like, oh, I don't know, like you put like, oh, home values are on the rise in what town? They're like, well, not my shithole house, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, you kind of just say, you know, hey, sorry, you know, I'd be happy to come by and offer you an in-home valuation. You know, this is just an average based on the area. Just throw that content back out, whatever you're doing, but reply and don't just take it down. Facebook's not going to like if you just take it down. But they do want to see you engaging, so also don't ignore it. And then you'll kind of, the whole idea is when you have the same ads running for a long time, they'll end up, like then you go on and they have like 200-300 likes, you know, a whole slew of comments following them around because it's running as a single post. You know what I mean? So, but you're not trying to get that overnight, right? It's not like I'm just trying to get 200 likes by like an engagement type post where that's all I want. But the whole thing is it all goes back to your initial demographics, right? So if I know that my ads are targeting homeowners in an area, then those people are potentially going to sell their home someday, right? Now, some of them take the next step and they fill out my lead form. Great. Some of them won't. Some of them will just, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to follow them around the internet forever. So at least they know that I'm here, this is what I do. You know, and I'm not going to shove myself down their throat like, hey, looking to buy a house, looking to sell your house. You know, I'm just going to be like, hey, you know, I just want to let you know I'm over here in freaking Jackson. I don't know, riding the roller coaster to Six Flags, whatever. Whatever you do, they're just going to see that. They're going to know you're an agent and you're going to build that recognition. I mean, then you get into like real wild stuff. Like I was talking I do a lot with Joe Oz's team. He just moved out to California. When he went out there, we were trying to like rebuild his brand out there because no one knew who he was, right? He's like, I'm going door knocking in this neighborhood, right? So before he went out door knocking, we just layered that neighborhood with his branding for a couple weeks prior. Now when he knocks on people's doors, they know who he is, you know? So like it's strange, like you're totally taking over people's minds because now, when they see your face, they feel like they know you. You're not a stranger knocking on their door. You didn't really do anything. They don't know you. You know, you just put yourself in front of them. It's kind of the same concept when those homeowners now go to sell that you've been retargeting because they engaged with your ad. Now, it could be a year down the line, 2 years down the line, but you've had all that time to build a relationship without doing anything. You know?
Did you do a lot of live videos with his face, or like what did you do?
We just did mostly
Build
like
that
branding
facial.
type stuff. Like, I mean, Joe's lucky in that he has a super strong brand. You know, the bow tie thing just works for him.
Yeah.
And he wears a bow tie and they just kind of put it together and his image matches his personality. I don't know, it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, and with the live videos, some just random branding type stuff. Image, like team photo type stuff we put out there. So it's really just putting that whole brand identity out there. And we're also running like, and then layer those lead gen campaigns on top of it. So some of them we'd already talked to on the phone. You know what I mean? It's kind of just building that. It's bringing everything back to really, real estate's a relationship-based business, you know? And, you know, for a long time, a lot of people that are in my sphere of like digital advertising type thing wanted to ignore that and make it a very transaction-based business, right? Which is what the mortgage business became years ago, is transaction-based. I could generate a lead, I get you on the phone. If I sell you on the phone and I get your tax return over to me, you're not going to anyone else, and then I'm locking you in the deal and we go, right? And that's kind of how the real estate business had started to become, in that it was getting very transaction-based. And the Zillows and the Realtor.coms of the world kind of created that, because I knew that if I didn't take you down on that first call and schedule an appointment, get in front of you, that there was 10 agents behind me that were calling you, and so I had to take you down the first call. They had to become salespeople. They had to become phone salespeople right away. reality is then what happens is then you close that transaction. Someone knows that they bought their house from Zillow. They don't know you from Adam. They go on with their lives, and you never get any referral business off that. So it's very transaction based. The whole idea is to get back to that relationship base, where if I know my targets are good, I know I'm branding them, I know that I'm building these relationships digitally without really having to do very much, or automating some things along the way, little email drops, text messages, whatever. I'm building that relationship without working very hard at it, but it's always going to be more beneficial. They're more likely to use me. They're more likely to refer me to their friends. They're more likely to tell someone, oh, I'm thinking about selling my house. Oh, I don't know, this guy keeps following me everywhere. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so respond to those people, or delete the comment if they're being a-holes.
Oh my God.
Sorry if I offend anyone.
No.
It happens. Not for everyone. I'm an acquired taste. So building your custom audiences. This we kind of touched on a little bit, and it's kind of like the grand finale or whatever of the next 5 weeks is really putting those audiences all together, right? And I do encourage anyone, if this is the route that you want to go, put together a plan, put together a budget, and include everything, because it's where the money is. It's where your return is. You can just run lead forms, yes, and you will end up with a bunch of email addresses and phone numbers. But if you're not using everything and incorporating these other methods as well, you're going to get a much lower return. At the end of the day, I don't care. Do what you want. I don't make money off of you guys doing this. So hey, you want to pay Facebook, go for it. But it will make more sense if you build these audiences out, and then it becomes what you do with those audiences, right? So now that's where even down the line, I might run ads for engagement, like those boosted posts. But I don't boost it to people between these ages that live in Jackson, right? I'm boosting it to custom audiences. So I'm saying I want to boost my post to people who have already expressed interest in what I do. You know what I mean? Like, if you're here today, or you watch this video, you're going to see more videos like this, because you've expressed interest in what I'm talking about. I'm not going to just say, oh, show this to agents in X, Y, and Z area, right? So, those audiences are based off those couple of things, action or intent, things that they did. They went to your website, took action on your website. Based on engagement, which we kind of went through in some detail there. They engage with anything that you do. Same thing with engagement on Instagram, if anyone's big on Instagram. I don't like Instagram. My wife loves Instagram. People younger than me love Instagram, so it will become a thing. A couple things to know about Instagram. Very hard to get people to take action on Instagram. So for lead gen, sucks. For driving traffic to a website, sucks. Facebook, people are like kind of comfortable with that. I go to Facebook and then I go somewhere else. Instagram, they just want to scroll through and look at pictures. Great for branding though, and engagement. Because if I throw up like a nice short video, I get so many more likes on Instagram than I'll ever get on Facebook. So you get a lot higher level of engagement on Instagram, and great for branding because it just kind of, you're continuing to program people's minds. Instagram programs your mind faster, essentially, but is not as good for getting action. So you can create custom audiences based on that Instagram engagement, and then Facebook owns Instagram. Everyone knows that? Yeah. Okay, cool. Facebook owns Instagram, doesn't own Snapchat. No, I don't know. Facebook put a lowball offer on Snapchat. Snapchat said no. Facebook said, well, we'll just do everything you do on Instagram then. Told them, have fun. And that's why you see like more filters and things like that, short videos and stuff on Instagram now, because it was probably a poor decision on Snapchat's part, but we'll see. So you can then retarget them on Facebook because they're connected, right? So if someone engages with my Instagram, where I know that it's super easy for me to get engagement, now I'm coming back to them with something else via Facebook, whether that's longer video content or call to action type stuff.
So if they don't follow you on Facebook, how do you get that engagement from Instagram to your actual business page, let's say? Are you going to be
so it's not like the things that we're doing are kind of beyond the way that we normally think of Facebook and Instagram. Like, we think of connections as like, you like my page, right? The reality is I don't need you to like anything. If you're following my Instagram, what happens is you have these audience buckets, right? that these are all your different audiences. Regardless of how we interact on any of these social media, as long as you meet these criteria, I can pay to put myself in front of you. So if we're friends on Instagram or we're not, whatever, if you happen to give me that little heart and like my post, you're going in there, and then I'm giving you follow-up content.
How are you giving them follow-up content? Is it just you're going to be posting that on Instagram?
It's a separate, no, it would be via Facebook, and it would be a separate ad set.
Okay.
So all of that comes down into your retargeting ads, right? Your ad sets here, I would combine all these audiences into one and say anyone who meets any of these criteria, now show this. And then I'm showing them like a video or an image or whatever that content is.
So are you sliding in the DM that way on Instagram?
I don't look for direct messages.
Because I'm just curious as to how you would follow up with that next type of content that you do want to show them.
It's because I'm paying to put it in front of them, right? So whenever I put it there, I can add a call to action into that content. Whatever I do, I'm normally trying to get them to come here and then go back to a lead form because that's my best means of getting usable data.
Okay.
How do you get your friends or followers to be quality? Like basically, you know how it says add a friend, add a friend, add a friend. I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah, the whole thing is to keep your friends list tight.
Okay.
Don't add random people. Don't accept friend requests from random people. That was kind of like the biggest thing for a long time was go out there and add all these random people. You will get cut off at 5,000, so make them count. When you see people and my thing is when I click on them and I see that they have 4 friends, we're not friends. I only like people with friends. You smell or something. I don't know, but. Or you see people, and a lot of them have mutual friends, right? You'll click on it, and their 4 friends are mutual friends. No, I don't know you. Just 4 of my friends thought it would be fun to add them or accept them. But yeah, I normally keep my friends list tight, so then I know if I'm inviting those people to then my business page, they're people that I want to engage with.
So when you say these are ads that go out to everybody, not just your friends.
These ads go to whoever I tell them to go to.
Okay, and you pay for is paying for an ad and paying for a boost 2 separate things?
A boost is essentially an ad. Everything I do is paid.
So all these
For the
ads
most
are
part.
paid ads?
Everything's paid.
Okay.
For the most part. There's some.
And then if you get to the point on your Facebook business page, are you going to be really, I heard it was, I don't know, if you ask them to share, and comment on your video, obviously it's beneficial to you, but are you...
Facebook's not going to like that if the whole hey, click like and share below type thing is not going to fly anymore.
Okay.
But the whole reality is most people that were doing things right weren't doing that anyway. The whole idea is that if your content's good and you're giving people what they want, they're going to like and share it on their own anyway. And there's some ways, kind of that you move some things around to make it happen easier. But the reality is that most of that stuff was never really working anyway. They were just, that whole organic reach thing. Forcing organic reach is not the way to go about things. The reality is the amount of time and effort that you have then to go through shit data, you're better off just spending a couple bucks and putting your stuff in front of the right people. That's kind of the way that I've always run business. I don't have a lot of time, to sit there and try to build out this organic reach of people that don't really care about me by telling them like and comment on my stuff just so more people see it. It works. Don't get me wrong. If I wanted to be, these big, your Tony Robbins, your Gary Vaynerchuk's, your Frank Kerns of the world, where I'm really just trying. That's what I want to do. I want to get people engaged, and then I want to charge them a bunch of money to come listen to me talk. It works for them. Because the reality is I don't care. I want everyone to see me, and then I want to weed out the ones that are willing to give me a ton of money to listen. But it doesn't really work for selling a house, right?
And there's no, it's so mindless. I tried it.
Yeah.
Add, unfollow.
Yeah.
It's mindless.
You know what it works for? It works for lower cost products. So they're going to be the ones that get hit a lot more. Your gym memberships, energy drinks, workout drink type stuff. Where I used to be able to get a big engaged audience, and then I try to get them to spend $20. That's not that hard. and that's where the kind of that level is. It's a lot harder for me to spread out to that big audience and then say, hey, you want to buy, a $500,000 house? It's a different transition, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where it works on that like large scale, lower cost type thing. They're the ones that are going to get affected by most of those changes anyway, because it's been very common in those industries. In real estate, it shouldn't have really been being done that much anyway, but I guess it is a little bit. But the whole idea is to just transition that all in, and it's literally just paying a little bit of money to make more money, and it really evens the playing field. It gets back to like just putting good stuff out there,
Having the groups, how does it work with a group? If you set up a group, let's say, with a certain neighborhood?
I don't do neighborhood groups. I do neighborhood pages. The difference is that I could target ads based on a page. I can't target ads as a group. So all of those things. The other thing that you could do as well when you get into custom audiences is create custom audiences based on data you already have. So all of those past client database lists, all that money that you spent on Zillow, and you have these random spreadsheets that are not organized and all over the place, right? Put them all into one, upload them as a custom audience into Facebook. Facebook will run those cell phone numbers and email addresses against their database, and then put an audience together based on that.
One more time. Real.
So basically, you have a list. Facebook knows your email address and phone number, right?
Right.
So you have your list of email addresses and phone numbers. Facebook's going to run that through their database. Now, I might upload 1,000 people, right? I might get 700 that they get, but that would be my audience. So I can create an audience based on that and then run ads to that audience.
So this is your database. You basically upload your database onto Facebook, and they create an audience for you based on that.
Right, and then I run my ads to those audiences. So I could upload a couple different lists. All these different audiences,
Are different campaigns?
they'd all run as one campaign generally, as long as there's the same group of people. So if it's like past clients and some another database list that I got, maybe I did a bunch of homebuyer seminars in 2015 or whatever. I put all those lists, all my open house lists, everything like that. I'll run one campaign, one ad set with all my custom audiences in one piece, and then they'll see the same ads.
It seems like a ton of work for.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's a little bit of work, but if you like money, it's.
I'm saying, like, what's the
it works.
pros and cons of hiring this out for someone else to do for you to create yourself? Because I mean,
the pro of hiring someone out and having them do it for you is that if they do it right, it'll give you more time. The con that the guys that do it right are going to charge you a shit ton of money. And there's a lot of people that don't do it right, and they'll charge you a shit ton of money too. But the problem is then you're going to spend a lot of money, and it's not going to be done right anyway. So for me personally, I normally like to, I like the control anyway. I like to do it myself, and I would structure it. It's really not that time consuming. Once you put this together, and over the next 5 weeks, you're going to have most of this done if you just show up every Wednesday at 10. And then it's really just turning it on and off or duplicating. So then it becomes super easy.
so okay, are you going to give us like an action step at the end of the class for us to kind of do something?
Go there.
Okay.
Fill out a form. You'll get everything.
Just a quick question about
Yeah.
custom audiences. Can you take, like, for instance, in the conversion feeds, like, can you take them and customize it to a town and those feeds that are searching in an area and add them into an Excel spreadsheet and then
you
and dump that?
Theoretically, the problem is with that, unless you have a lot of what you end up with, then is a lot of really small data sets, and then you have a bunch of really small ads, and then it becomes very time consuming because now you're taking a lot of effort.
Well, no, if you just hone in, like, for instance, like, I'm in Matawan, so I would just hone in on Matawan and just be like, so only the leads that were related to that, I would want to pull out a conversion and dump into a custom audience,
Yeah.
and then have that.
And then and then you continue.
Facebook.
The thing is, you continue to grow that audience out. So I
Yeah.
just feed that with anything in that
Yeah,
area.
and then let them do.
That's kind of the whole idea by
build
having-
around that feed.
By having the individual area pages, is that I know that people are interested in that area already. So then I'm feeding that audience that way. So I can feed that same audience from another source as well. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like if like when you look at a drone on Amazon, you don't go onto Facebook and then see other stuff on Amazon. You see a drone. You could do it, but you generally need a larger data set.
Yeah,
Are you
and
going to
could
be
build a
running
website
any
like that.
evening?
Yeah.
Build it
What's
out.
that?
Are you going to be running any evening class?
Not as of now. I think after I do this one here, I might do it in East Monmouth, and I might run evening in East. Right now, only morning for me, but maybe in the future. I will be running them live though, and those recordings will be on the interweb. So you're always welcome to watch those afterwards. If you need the video emailed to you or something, let me know. I can shoot it over for that week. And then if you have any questions or comments, I'm usually available for any questions or anything like that. We can always set up like a screen share or something if it's something quick you want to go over. So
What exactly are those videos?
what's that?
On the website?
This is gonna be the video. This is a video right now. So next week it'll be the same thing. It'll be the video, so you'll be able to see that entire class. If my assistant has time, I try to get her to timestamp them. Sometimes she doesn't want to do that. So sometimes you gotta just watch the whole thing or skip around. There is, when you go on here and you sign up now, there is some video content on some of the stuff we're gonna be doing over the next couple weeks. That's just pre-recorded stuff that I randomly had. But that'll all fill in as well via Facebook Live.
So those videos are going to be on the website?
They'll be on there too, yeah. Well, you go on here, you got to fill out a little form. Give me your email address so I know who you are. Honestly, though, that doesn't even follow. I mean, the reality is like I'm already following you all anyway. Probably the fact that you're in this room, I'm going to be anyway, so it doesn't matter. You can't get close to me. Yeah, it's strange. My friends come over.
You're totally creepy, dude.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, sorry guys. So yeah, this is just kind of the branding type thing. We're almost done here. I won't take too much more of your guys' time. But this just kind of gets into more of the retargeting type stuff and custom audiences that we'll go into setting up. This is more just that overall branding type stuff, image and video stuff, just keeping you top of mind. A couple ones that I use, and this gets back into more ways that you do. Video views, brand awareness, and messages are also 3 additional ways you can run ads that aren't a boosted post. Each one has the same as Facebook's algorithms work in that when they're not showing you, your ex-girlfriend stuff from high school and they're only showing you your friends, their algorithms work the same way on their advertising. I tell Facebook what I want and they give me what I want. If I tell Facebook that I want leads and then I wonder why my videos don't get viewed as much, it's because it's not what I asked for, And there's different things that work better for different things. So even though I can use a video for a lead form, it doesn't convert as well as an image. Video views I use a lot for my retargeting type campaigns. You expressed interest in my product. Now I want to keep showing you my video content. The more of those videos you watch, the more I'll follow you around. Brand awareness type reach allows you to kind of choose more so how often I want someone to see me. I use that more for images. I can say, hey, I want these people in this group to see me once every 7 days, once every 3 days, 20 times today. Messages are kind of cool. We won't get too far into those because they haven't really, they don't really convert that well yet. I'd say another year or two, that's going to really be, now that all the messenger bots are coming in and stuff, that's going to be really huge. We mess around with a little bit on the mortgage side. There is some return there. It's just a lot of setup and, from an agent standpoint, probably a little high-tech and expensive. Different ad sets as well, friends of likers, and custom. We'll go all into all this. It's going to be super easy, I promise. Retargeting. This just kind of goes through the same thing. Like I said, images are going to get those actions. So an image is always going to get clicks. Facebook always is going to get more clicks than Instagram. So that's what I'm saying when I say action, either clicking to fill out that lead form, clicking to go somewhere. Images are always better. Videos will get a lot more engagement, and those live videos will get even more. People who watch it, like it, comment on it, that sort of thing. Experiment with different types of campaigns. that's kind of the fun part is, like, I'll teach you this stuff, and this is kind of what we're going to go over. And you'll, by the end of this, we'll have some ad sets set up if you follow along. Now, all I do is I just change out one of these ads, try different things. I don't know everything. There's definitely people out there that run ads that look nothing like mine that do well. I would normally just switch one or two out in my ad set. I'm going to tell you what I know works, right? What is working for me and has been working for me for a long time. But the reality is, once I tell you all that, then I'm going to have to go change everything I do anyway. So try different things out, but then you're only operating on this ad spectrum. So your audiences are all the same, your ad sets are all the same. Try out different text, try out different images. What I normally do is I'll switch one ad, I'll switch an image, and then another one I'll switch the text. And if one of those is outperforming one of the other ones, then I go and I change all the text or all the images to something similar, to kind of see what works. So this is all just going to rotate and run all the time, and then I'm just swapping out different posts to those same people. The whole thing is keeping your audiences consistent. There we are. The end. Does anyone have any questions? Are we good? Okay, good. Yeah. If you guys need anything, I probably have some cards or something. Text or Facebook Messenger is generally the easiest, to be honest with you.
Gee, what type of camera do you have that is so behind me?
That one right there.
Oh, so it's so with like how do you do that? Because it's so much better. Let's see right here.
I know.
That's a Mevo.
What's that?
That's a Mevo?
Mevo.
Mevo camera?
M-I-V-O.
Super expensive, but really sweet.
Yeah, you know what? It works better than like.
You know what it is? It's nice for like things like this because I could set it up. It has a built-in mic. I got it for like more stuff for like home buyer seminars and stuff like that. But yeah, it's nice because it has, and it's like a 4K camera. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because you know what? It's better than when you do live on the Facebook. It doesn't look.
Yeah, it's nice and crisp, and it has the speaker, which helps. And you can actually, what I meant to do, but I didn't, is or a mic rather. I mean.
Yeah. The mic and built into it.
So what's super expensive?
So I run it from my phone. So it's actually kind of, and this is kind of where it gets neat, is that you can zoom and pan, right? So like this is what people would see. It's up now. Or maybe it's not up.
You know what? There's a couple of
I'm still filming. That's all right.